All right, so on this call right here, it will, again, all be about some new tools we have inside of Webfire and some special announcements, and we'll also talk a bit about some upcoming trainings, and we'll have a longer Q&A as well. So if you have any questions or anything like that, you can feel free to ask those, and we'll basically take this time to answer any of the questions that you might have as well. So once again, welcome to the Wednesday call right here. And again, it's every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll do these live trainings and/or Q&A calls. You know, if you're not aware of that, keep in mind it'll be the exact same time, exact same day next week and every week from then on. So you can always attend these live. And of course, we also have the replays up usually within about a day in the Webfire members area as well. So if you miss some, you can still catch the replay of them. Of course, if you show up live, you have more of a chance to ask questions and anything like that that you want. So all these trainings will either feature myself, Brian Koz, my partner Sean Casey, both of us, like right now, he's actually in the background answering questions and stuff, and you'll hear from him probably towards the end of the call. Or occasionally we'll have a featured guest as well, if we think that their expertise would, you know, basically line up with what you guys want, or if it would bring value to our members. So we know a lot of guys from a lot of different fields and stuff, and occasionally we find ones that do some pretty cool stuff, and we invite them along to be a guest on these calls as well. So if you're here right now, or you're registered for these calls, you'll get a reminder each week, just so you don't forget. But once again, if you miss one, you can always see the recordings in the members area under the training tab on the left side navigation bar in the Webfire members area. And again, you can use these calls as an opportunity to get even more training, ask strategy type questions, get feedback, or make suggestions on what else you'd like to basically see or hear about. And as a special note, make sure to check the prior trainings, as a lot of topics that we get asked on a lot are actually covered extensively on some of the past trainings. So oftentimes guys will say, oh man, it'd be great if you could have, like, you know, a training just on how to rank, or it'd be great if you could have a training just on how to reply to leads or stuff like that. And we actually have those. So oftentimes we get asked stuff that's actually covered very extensively. So make sure to check the trainings and the replays out first, because stuff that you might want additional training on, you'll be surprised to probably find out that we have entire calls on just that. All right, so now we'll move on to the Webfire rules to success. First, follow the steps and the trainings that we have. Oftentimes we have guys that say, oh man, you know, I haven't gotten results, or I haven't gotten this, or I haven't gotten that, and oftentimes it's because they're not following the steps that are clearly laid out for them. So if you don't follow the steps or don't do squat, you know, you can't expect to get the results that, you know, we basically talk about as if you follow them. Number two, don't give up. And with that, seek help when needed, but don't get too dependent. And once again, that basically means if you get stuck, seek help. At the same time, don't get too dependent where you could do a quick, you know, 10-second Google search to find an answer, and instead you'd rather email back and forth to do the exact same thing that you could find out in 10 seconds. So don't get too dependent like that, because that's never helpful for anyone. And third, no whining or negative attitudes, because I think that's the quickest way to fail. If you're always looking for a reason to be down or negative, you'll always find a reason. So, and that just prevents you from moving forward. So if you follow those three things right there, you should be fine. So next, I have a handful of quick questions for you. So I'll ask the question, and then I'll ask you to type in a number based upon your answer. And Sean, if you have any additional questions, you can feel free to ask too. So the first question I have, I just want you to type in your answer. The question I have is, what are your favorite tools inside of Webfire? And if you don't know the exact name, you can feel free to just describe the tool or what it does or anything like that. And list off like one or two that you think are your favorite tools. So what are your favorite tools inside of Webfire? All right, I'll give you guys maybe like 30 seconds or so to answer that. All right. So it looks like we have lots of people saying site analysis. We have a keyword tool, expired domain, website analysis, keyword tool, check website, niches. All right, keyword tool. All right, SEO. All right. So lots of you geared more towards basically the SEO side. Interesting. Okay. Cool stuff there. All right. The second question, and if it's the same answer as before, feel free to say same. When you initially got Webfire and saw either the sales video or a webinar demo of ours, what was like the #1 tool that basically pushed you over the edge and got you to buy? If it was the exact same one, say same. If it was a different one, feel free to say different. All right. All right, cool. All right. So another question I have, a bit unrelated to Webfire, is a little ways back, about I don't know, like a week and a half back or so. We had an offer for an outsourcing package where we train outsourced workers on a whole bunch of different tasks, like ranging from how to, they'll make websites for you, they'll make e-commerce sites, they'll do research for you, they'll do writing, they'll email cold leads for you, they'll find leads, just a whole bunch of stuff like that, like essentially a virtual assistant on crack, essentially. In a good way, of course, because it would be one that we actually train them all ahead of time on a bunch of tasks. So any kind of marketing or design type task, they already were trained in, and they do some pretty cool things. Like I thought one of my favorite features was that they could help find and weed through leads for you, and then email those leads for you too. So you can kind of put your marketing and stuff on autopilot. So with that, we were trying to kick around some ideas and stuff, and see what your guys' needs are. And the question I have, so right now we sell it on like a credit system, basically, where for X amount of credits you can have them do any one of the tasks that we mention. So the two questions I have is, one, would it be more appealing or the same or less if you just got essentially a virtual assistant that you could do anything you want, but then you would be responsible for training them in that? So they wouldn't be pre-trained in everything that we have, necessarily that we've already trained them on, but you could use them on anything you want, but you'd be responsible for training. So if that would be more appealing, say yes. Less, or same, say same, or less appealing, just say less. So again, the downside is you'd be responsible for training them on your stuff, but the pro side of that is you can have them do additional stuff outside of that. All right. So it looks like most of you are saying that would be, all right, it looks like the majority are probably saying less appealing, that they basically like it as is. Handful are saying it'd be more appealing. Okay, cool. All right. All right. And then another question I have is, so out of all the tools that you currently see inside of Webfire, are there any specific kind of tools or features that you'd like to see that we don't have yet? And if so, just name what that might be, because we're constantly making new tools and stuff. So if there's any tools and features that you would like to see but are not there, just mention that real quick. Okay. All right, so a few of you guys are actually saying stuff that we actually have already. So, so for instance, we have a keyword density checker. There's actually the website analysis tool says that, and there's also, I believe, in the competition analysis tool as well. But the site analysis one, actually says that stuff right now. All right, another one says backlink discovery for competitor sites. We actually have that too. That's actually under the competition tab. There's one called backlink, and that actually does exactly what you just asked right there. One says website authority. I'm not quite sure which you mean, but we actually do have stuff that ranks sites by their authority per se, and we also have a new tool that I'll show off today that I'll talk about that can actually help you find authority backlinks as well. All right. All right, as well as a bulk way to send emails. We do have ways where through Webfire, if you want to email like a bunch of bloggers, with the guest blog tool, or people through the, or to basically email the competition or where the competition gets their backlinks from, we have a feature built in where you can mail them. Of course, it's designed to like mail, several leads at a time, and not like, tens of thousands or anything. So if you want like a bulk mailer like that, that's more so an autoresponder, and you should ideally go with a place that specializes just in mailing if you're looking for like a bulk mailer like that. Okay. All right, cool. All right, and yeah, okay, there's one guy saying a press release tool. We actually did have one like that, but the only problem with that is we find that a true press release has to actually be written like a press release, and a lot of times people tend to release not necessarily like crappy ones, but ones that are just basically like a sales pitch and nothing else. And those ones tend not to get accepted on like ones that are recognized by like the Google network and stuff like that. So I'd say probably like probably like 98% of ones submitted were just basically a pure like sales pitch and nothing else. Which that's why we don't focus on that as much now, because we guys would tend to abuse the system where it would work on crappy press release sites, but not on the higher ones that we like to use. All right, good stuff right there. So ironically, the funny part is I'd say about 4/5 of the stuff you guys are asking for is already inside of there. So make sure to check out the current stuff right now, because a lot of what you're asking is in there. All right, and Sean, if there's any questions that you want to ask real quick, you can feel free to chime in. If not, we can just go on to the next part.
No, I'm good.
All right. So all out of questions right there. All right, guys. So I want to also talk about some upcoming trainings that we'll have as well. So next week we'll hopefully be ready for part 3. We're hoping to have that ready this time, but there's a few snags with that. So in some of the prior trainings, we have part 1 and part 2 of the SEO data. So if you missed that, I think part 2 was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It basically is we're basically analyzing tons and tons and tons of sites that are inside of Webfire, the network and all that, and we're seeing like what they have in common if they, of the ones that rank on page 1 versus page 2 versus page 3 versus like not ranked at all, like what those all have in common, what the differences are. We found some like really interesting stuff, like a lot of the ones were like, hey, if you have the keyword at least partially in your title, like if you have like 60 or 70% of a keyword in your title, you're far more likely to rank. And as far as the backlinks go, what was surprising to a lot of people was that if you had at least a handful of backlinks, you're more likely to be on page 1, but you didn't have to have a ton of backlinks. Like there was a correlation where if you had at least like 3 or 5 backlinks or so, you'd have a much better chance of being on page 1. But a lot of people assume that you'd have to have like hundreds of backlinks and all that, and that just wasn't the case right there. The other thing too is we've seen that from differences on like page 1, 2, and 3 are that the guys that are ranked on page 1 tend to follow more of like what we'd call like best practices, where they have the keyword in their titles and they're far more likely to target the keywords and stuff that's on page 2. But ironically, stuff that's on page 3 or not ranked, there were quite a few sites that would have like a really high keyword density or stuff like that, and basically it showed sites that were like basically way over optimized, as in like the content on them tended not to flow naturally. Like if they're trying to rank for the term, let's say, I don't know, like weight loss tips for men, they would use the term like 50 times over on the exact same page. So they would, a handful of those sites would be, trying too hard to, get the keywords out there where they just won't flow well, and that seemed to push them closer to like a page 3 than a page 1. So some pretty cool data on that. So make sure you check out part 1 and 2 on that. But part 3, what we're basically doing for that, this is the biggest analysis yet of probably anything I've seen. And the last analysis was huge, but on this one, we're analyzing not just the sites in the network, but all of the competition sites too. So those that use Webfire as well as those that do not. Which is like basically 10 times as many sites out there that are, on page 1 that are basically the competition, of members of ours, and we'll analyze all of those sites and see what traits they have in common, and also compare the differences as well. Like how do they compare to like Webfire users? What stuff is in common or is not? And some pretty interesting data is popping up on that, but we'll share more of that next week. So there's tons and tons of data to be basically compiled and analyzed with that. So we'll get to that. Another question I have for you guys, and you can just say yes or no here. There's a guest speaker that I was talking to, and I wanted to see, before officially inviting them, I wanted to see if this was something that would be of interest to you. And it was how to passively get traffic, and sales by selling drop-shipped mugs, t-shirts, pillows, and so forth that you can design. So essentially you would design a simple mug or t-shirt or pillow, and without having to buy the actual product, people could buy it from like your site, and anytime they bought, like let's say they bought it for $20, it might cost you $5 to have that made and shipped, and that's all done on basically autopilot, where they would make the mug or the t-shirt or pillow and stuff for you. And the method that now there's a lot of places that talk about like selling t-shirts and stuff like that. So this does a bit more, but what I found cool with this specific method was that they didn't just market their store itself. They would take their like pillowcase or mug and they would list it on like a bunch of other sites like Amazon and a bunch of others, and they would show how if they list this on like 5 or so sites, how they would basically go about that. So each one would passively make them some extra sales. It wouldn't necessarily be like, wow, this one made me thousands and thousands of dollars. Keep in mind because they're not sending any actual traffic to it. They're just passively listing it on them. It's like, hey, this one right here made me 5 sales this last month. This one made me 20 sales. This one made me 30. This one made me 2, or this one made none. So it's ways where with a little extra work it makes some passive income each time, and you can exponentially grow that. So I thought that was kind of cool right there, and kind of saw that firsthand, and thought that was pretty cool right there. So if that would be of interest to you, I could ask them to be a guest on at some point in the next few weeks or so. But if that's of no interest, just say no, and that's a-okay. All right. All right. So it looks like almost all of you are saying yes. Okay, cool. All right, so I will ask and see what we can do then. And also, as I said on this call, I'll show off a handful of new tools and stuff that we either have out or we will have out very, very, very soon for Webfire users. And on some of the future calls on the stuff that's officially done, we'll have some training specifically on just that. And with that, my last question on that for you guys before I go on to the new stuff is, are there any topics or any kind of trainings or anything like that that you guys want to hear more about? So if there's any topics at all or any trainings, just mention what you'd like to hear more of. But make sure to, check out our prior trainings and stuff first, because I know there's a lot of you that say stuff like, it'd be great to hear, how to rank the blog post, stuff like that, when we cover that extensively on our prior stuff. So if there's any stuff that you think we haven't talked about yet, feel free to mention it now, and we can see what we can do. All right. All right, so yeah, as I thought, there's a handful saying, anything with SEO and ranking. So we have lots and lots of prior trainings on that. Of course, we'll cover that topic extensively in the future as well, because we're all about traffic and rankings and SEO and all that good stuff right there. All right, we have some saying Shopify stuff, how to define niches. Okay, that's a cool one right there. Lots of you are saying that you're perfectly fine as is right there. All right. All right. Cool. All right. So lots of interesting thoughts there. Thanks for that. And just as a quick reminder, guys, if you're not already a member of our Facebook group, just go to getwebfire.com/FB group, and at the end of this call, we'll have a giveaway on that. So we'll have a cash giveaway for those that join that group right now and do a little comment on the training. So Sean, make sure to get that post up there soon and watch that. And towards the end of this call, we'll do the cash giveaway for that as well. All right, guys, on to the fun stuff. So we actually have done a lot of cool stuff in the last few weeks with Webfire, some new tools and features and all sorts of cool stuff. And we have some new features and stuff that are currently out and some that will be out very soon. Like I'm hoping within the next week or so. So we have actually like 2 of the brand new ones are technically done, but they're just being fine-tuned and the user interface is being tweaked a bit, and there's a couple like little bugs here and there that are still being fixed, but I'll talk about those because those are pretty cool. And then there's one that's currently out and ready for you as well. All right, so the new stuff in the order that I'll talk about them. 1 is the Authority Backlink Finder, and this is a cool one that basically helps you find basically authority backlinks, as the name says. It helps find places that can give you .edu and .gov links that you can basically post on for free essentially. So, you know, backlinks are important and all that, but there tends to be a bit more weight given to backlinks from you know, .edu sites as well as .gov sites, which tend to carry a lot more authority. So the hard part, of course, was trying to find those. And just as a side note, there's actual services out there that charge big money just to get you .edu and .gov links. Whereas you can find these for free, actually. So if you want to use them on your own sites, great. If you want to charge others, great. That's all completely up to you, but you'll have that there. The second one is one that I'm pretty excited about. It's a schema tool. And if you don't know what that means, I'll explain that in just a bit. But it's basically a cool way where you can get even more exposure on essentially Google and have more of your site show up and a lot more info on your site show up as well, and basically take up more of the first page of Google. And this is a, now that the hard part with that is, you know, it used to involve like a lot of tech type crap, and a lot of people didn't know how to do it, so we thought it'd be cool if we dumbed down the entire thing and made a tool to make it like super easy. And that's what we did right there. And that's also another one that is technically done but not quite released yet, but it's we're tweaking a handful of things, but I'll show off some stuff with that in just a bit, then probably within like a week or so. We'll talk about that on a future call when it's officially out and you guys can play with it then. And third one, which is one that's currently out right now, are some social features that we have that we recently added into the social poster, which is again another tool inside of Webfire. So we'll have some pretty cool stuff with that can basically automate your social postings even more and do even more stuff too. So first, the first one, this is a screenshot of the basically Authority Backlink tool, and what it basically does, it's a lot like the Ranked Lead Finder, which is a tool that again is inside of Webfire right now, but the difference is this will only look for .edu and .gov links that allow you to leave a post, comment, or reply on. So it only looks for places that you can get free backlinks on. So basically you type in a term like weight loss, and it'll list off all the sites that are, you know, .edu or .gov type sites right there. And the cool part with this is that, you know, again, this is, you know, invaluable right here, because there's, again, people that charge top dollar for this stuff right here, and this is just a partial shot. You know, there's a lot more results at, you know, the very bottom there, but just for a quick search right here, boom, there's tons of places that not only are authority sites, but are also ranked, you know, on page 1 of Google too. So it's like, you know, it's essentially like a double tap right there. You have the, you know, benefit of having a .edu or .gov backlink to your site, but on top of that, it's also one that currently is ranked, you know, on page 1 of Google for some term that, again, means it's probably even more of an authority type site right there. So that's one that, you know, it's currently out but not available to you guys quite yet, because we're basically tweaking, you know, a few things, you know, on it, like a few minor bugs and a few things right there. But it should be out probably within like, you know, a week, probably 2 tops, and again, it'll be available for Webfire users, and that's pretty cool, because I've seen guys that sell just like, you know, a list of places that you can post on for top dollar, or there's services out there that charge to basically get you backlinks to these places right there, but this will actually help you find it. And this is the kind of tool that I know there's tons of people out there that would pay hundreds of dollars to get a tool like this, if not more. You know, some I know would even pay like $1,000 plus, and this is a tool that again would be included for free, you know, inside of Webfire right there. So that's pretty cool right there. I'm excited about it, so hopefully you are as well. If not, that's okay, because I know I am. So it's pretty cool. The second one is the schema tool, and this is one where we still have to kind of tweak the UI and stuff. So this is just like a pre-release shot right here. What this basically does, I'll actually show off this. So you've probably done a Google search at some point where you've seen something like this. You know, you've seen a result in Google, and you see it has like, you know, stars and ratings and extra info on it. Like right here, you see it. This is like a 5-star review right here, and you see it says, hey, it's the price is $17 and it's out of stock, and yada yada. And you're probably wondering how do they pull that info, and why don't they pull that info for you? Or maybe you've seen a site in Google that looks more like this. For instance, right here, not only would you see the main site link show up, or the main result show up, but you'd see like a bunch of other pages on that site show up as well. Like you might have like the contact us or separate pages, or like if it's a restaurant, you might have like a menu link pop up and a whole bunch of stuff like that. And the benefit there is basically a few things. One, if you use a schema, which is what this is called here, you're more likely to actually rank. And two, not only are you more likely to actually rank, on top of that, it takes up a lot more space. Because like, if you look at this, imagine if you were just the top right here. How much larger, is the space that you have with all the stuff right here? I mean, this is probably what? I mean, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. This is probably like, 4 or 5 times the size if it was just this right here. So that means you take up a lot more space where a person can't miss you. So that's pretty cool right there. And of course, you can also have like, different pages and titles and stuff right here. It does not have to be this right here. So if someone's looking for something in particular and your main site does not have that listed in the title tag, there's a good chance that you can have it listed right here, so you can target multiple different kinds of keywords and stuff in that as well. So pretty cool thing to actually do. But of course, the hard part is, up until now, that was pretty tough to actually make those. Or I shouldn't say necessarily tough, but you had to be like a tech guy. So right now, we're almost done with the tool right here, and this is kind of like the raw tool right here. Will make the UI a bit more friendly and all that right there. But essentially right here, you just start by, you pick like what kind of business or site you essentially are. If you have a logo and stuff, you can load that. If you have any phone numbers or email contacts, you can do all sorts of stuff like that, and then it will automatically pull up the other pages that you have on your site and turn it into a schema where you can quickly and easily essentially edit that stuff. Then just gives you the code right here that you just paste on your site, and you're basically done. And of course, we'll have a complete walkthrough and training on how to do all that. It'll be super, super easy, but I just want to show off the tool right there because I thought it was a pretty cool feature that, again, this is one that I know guys would charge a lot to use because it has a huge, huge benefit. But again, we're just including that for free for the Webfire members. So I'm excited for this. And again, both those probably out in the next week or two right there. And once that they're out, we'll do an official announcement and kind of do the official training on the call then too. So for part of one of the future training calls, I'll take some time to actually just kind of go through and talk about what again the benefits are and how to basically use it and how that's all done right there. So pretty cool stuff right there. And the other one that I want to talk about, this is one that's actually currently done and out, and there's some new stuff that we recently added. So I want to show off that stuff right there. So it's under the Social Poster Fire tool. That one's been new as of like several months back, but we actually added a new sub tool and a new feature inside of that. So I want to show off those. And I'm just going to pause the screen for a second, and I'll flip over to inside of Webfire so you guys can see that. All right. It's loading a bit slow here, but we'll get this up in a second. All right. So any second now it should show. All right. And of course, it's just inside of the members area right there. You see some like additional updates and stuff that we've done that probably aren't relevant to most of you. Like, we recently added support for Switzerland in the search engines, and we have some like training stuff from the UK workshop that we have posted up there as well. But the new stuff I want to talk about here is the social poster, and this is one that's currently live that you can actually access and all that, whereas the other two I showed off will be available probably within like a week or two or so right there. We just have to fine-tune the stuff and fix a few small bugs before we actually release it out. So we like stuff to be all fixed and good there. So the newer stuff is in Poster Fire under Social, so just click on that. And a few things to show off right here. So the two main things are, one, we have, so the social poster by itself allows you to quickly and easily do social media type posts on it. So if you want to put basically your Facebook and your Twitter marketing on autopilot, this can help you with that. But I'll just show off like what it would basically do. I'll just get up, do a quick post. So you can schedule posts out, you can do quick posts and all that, that's all fine. I'll just click quick post right there. You basically, and this is one that, again, this has been out for a couple months here, so I'm not explaining anything new, but I just want to catch you up to what the old stuff is and what the new stuff does here. So you can write a post and it can automatically post it for you on Facebook and Twitter. You can post on, personal pages, on your fan pages, on groups and all that. So right there you just basically check off which ones you want to post on, and it will automatically post for you to Facebook as well as Twitter. And you can also cycle through posts. Like if you want to write 10 posts ahead of time and say, hey, once a week, post this, it can actually do that for you and spread those out. Likewise, if you want to recycle through them and say, hey, I have 10 posts, I want you to post once a week or every day or whatever you want, and then once you go through that first 10 or 20, I want you to recycle those, it can do that, so it can indefinitely mark it for you on autopilot, which gives you a larger social signal, which can help your rankings, and it also helps people on Facebook and Twitter find you and gets you more leads and traffic and all that good stuff too. But a couple of new things that we did are, one, we also integrated some stuff within Instagram as well, so you just check off right here and it will just send you a quick reminder, and it will allow you to quickly and easily, if you want to do a post there, it will remind you to do that, and then you can click that. So the Instagram doesn't really have an API to have it done on autopilot to kind of prevent some spammy type stuff, but we make it quick and easy to basically do. So you just click right there, it'll send you a reminder and the steps to take to basically post that to your Instagram, but it will do, again, the Facebook and Twitter on autopilot. So that's one of the new features right now, is that we have the support for Instagram. The other thing too is we also have up here, this is a new kind of a tool by itself, but I call it like a sub tool. We have the WordPress plugin for Social Poster Fire, and what this does, you just download the plugin, follow the instructions to install it, and what it basically does, which is pretty neat, it's anytime you'd have like a new blog post on a site of yours, it will also do a Facebook post and a tweet mentioning that. So it's kind of a cool way. So if you have like a fan page or a Facebook account or a Twitter account, it will do like a post like, hey, I have a brand new blog post on blah blah blah. Check it out here, and we cycle through like a bunch of different wordings and stuff for that. So it's not like the exact same post every single time. So it looks new and fresh, like an actual person is writing that, but it'll tell them the topic that you wrote on and all that good stuff right there. So it's a good way to build up essentially an audience and get a lot of interaction stuff there too. So that's kind of cool right there. And that by itself, that's one that, again, I know we could easily sell that because that's a pretty cool way to basically completely automate your Facebook and Twitter posts without even the need to even write anything ever, because it just kind of posts it based upon your blog page. Even if you have like a blog on autopilot, and even if it's not posting, your own blog posts, you can still have it talk about all these blog posts that you have right there. So a lot of cool stuff that you could do to basically automate the social media side of that without having to really do anything cool. So that's pretty cool right there. And again, I could easily sell that for hundreds of dollars, and I know that would fly off the shelves. But again, you guys get that for free and included in that right here as a Webfire member. So that's out right now, and you guys can actually use that right now. There's training on the plugin and stuff right now, but we'll probably add like a quick video walkthrough of that like right here as well. So that's just a brand new one that we just mentioned. So we threw up that right now so you guys can play around with that. And there's some training within the plugin, but we'll add like a video very, very soon in the next couple days or so that will walk you through it without having to be in the plugin too. So cool stuff there, but I thought we'd give you guys early access to that ahead of time because it's some really pretty cool stuff there. And of course, there's like other features and stuff that we've done, like we've tweaked the site analysis a bit. We've also added, like a few things to, the Blogger Guest tool and all that stuff to basically show you like the authority of the sites, and just to actually answer a couple of questions that I saw. So there's some guys that said, hey, it'd be very cool to have like a site that checks the backlinks from the competition. That's actually right here under the competition. It's under backlinks, and there's also another one that, ironically enough, asked if we could have a keyword density tool. And that's actually been out for a while. That's actually a newer tool as of like several months ago, but that's out, and that's actually under right there. But we also have that also mentioned on the site analysis as well up there too. So make sure to check out the stuff that we have there. And we also have, as of I think a few months ago, we have the content submitter done as well right there, which again submits your content across the web and stuff there too. So that's just a quick overview of some stuff right there. So what I'll do now, I'll just pause the screen. I see there's a lot of questions on stuff, so we can go into Q&A, but hopefully you guys enjoy the newer stuff that you saw. All right. Now we have some extra time for a slightly longer Q&A, as well as a cash giveaway after that as well. So for the cash giveaway, all that you'll have to do is just go to getwebfire.com/FB group, which will forward to the Facebook group page, which if you're not a member of, you can join that right now. And there is a post that Sharon should have up, which basically asks if you enjoyed today's call, and just make a quick comment on that, and we'll pick a random winner from that and give $100 cash too. So we'll PayPal you $100. Just leave a comment on that right there. But we'll get back to that in just a minute. But again, that's getwebfire.com/FB group. And now, as for the Q&A, let's see, I'll go through any questions that you guys have. All right. Just going to pop up a little question box so I can see it a little bit better. All right. Yep, and there's a question right here on how extensive the scheme tool will be. So we'll have a bunch of additional features and stuff on that. That's just like a pre-release version, and yeah, you can have images and stuff like that on there, so that will all be fine. Yeah, there's a person here that said that the Social Poster Fire is a lot like, or even better than, some of the real expensive social poster type tools out there. And yeah, that was the intention of it, was to be the same, if not better. And in a lot of cases, it has a lot of additional features that you don't see elsewhere on some of the more elaborate, or the tools out there that are sold as like elaborate social media type tools that sell for top dollar. We actually include all that stuff and more for free. That's just like one of the many tools inside of Webfire. So pretty cool stuff right there. All right. And yes, there's a question here, if they can add a schema to an HTML as well as WordPress. Yes. And yes, the Authority Backlink tool, it will easily find any .ed or .gov site that you can leave a post, comment, or reply on. If it does not find one that you can leave like a comment on, it will skip it. So it will only find ones that you can post some kind of interaction on. It does not just find like, oh, hey, this is a .edu site or a .gov site. It says, hey, these are the .edu and .gov sites that we not only found related to your niche, but that also allow you to leave some kind of post, comment, or reply on it where you can have a link on it. And what's cool with that is it's not just random links too, like a lot of places charge you top dollar just to get like 10 random links to like random .edu and .gov places. These all contain the keyword related to your niche as well, so they're much more relevant to you too, and they're ranked for something in Google too. So it's kind of like it's essentially a triple whammy. So it's pretty cool right there. All right, so a person asked on the backlink tool, how on the new one, how would you leave a link? It's done the exact same way as you would on like the ranked lead finder. It just mentions those sites for you, and those might be sites that have a form on them. They might have a commenting place on them where you would just click reply or comments and stuff, and leave your stuff on that like you would any other place as well. All right, there's a question here on the schema tool, if they'd have to copy and paste the output code on, or if we can inject the code onto any site. So we're basically going back and forth on that right now. So it's not too hard to copy and paste the output code onto the header of a site. We talked about basically auto-injecting, but the only downside is like there's tons of different kinds of sites. Like it's easy for like an HTML site. For like a WordPress site, you can have like a plugin that we could do to help with that. But there's a lot of different kinds of sites out there that make it a bit more tough, and that every site might be slightly different. But we'll know more on that in the next few days or so. All right. All right. Let's see here. All right. There's a question here that asks if they can add custom blogs. I'm not quite sure what you mean. I mean, you can make any blog that you want and do anything you want inside of Webfire with that, but feel free to clarify that. And no, there's not a limit on how many sites you can use the social poster on. So that's pretty cool for you guys right there. All right. Just reading through some questions right here. And Sean, if you see any questions, feel free to chime in as I read through some right here.
Can I read you a really, really long one? It takes like half an hour.
I'll let you answer the really, really, really long ones.
See, you're no fun. You want to be able to do that. Okay, you want me to do that because Yaya wrote me a really, really long question, which I'm writing the answer to.
Okay.
All right. So Amelia is asking, do the edu and .gov sites charge you to leave a post and get the backlink? Amelia, nope. No, they don't. Nobody charges you to post and leave a backlink. But if you would like to donate like $1 to us by PayPal every time you use our service to do that, we will accept the donations gladly. But in all seriousness, no, it does not actually do that. Have to do that. So David says if he has a Shopify store, is Webfire useless because of FTP? Well, no, no, and no. So if you have a Shopify store, you're right, you don't have FTP access because Shopify is its own software that you can't edit via FTP or crack into their code or anything else. So from using Webfire to make changes to your Shopify store, no, you can't use Webfire to do that. But Webfire can do everything else that you'd want to do, which is help you get traffic, get rankings, get inbound links, find people that are anxious and eager to buy your product, all all of those other things apply. The only thing that's not going to help you with is making updates for things that are missing in terms of the on-page SEO for your site. But off-page SEO and everything else that Webfire does, managing social media, doing content promotion, all those things, Webfire can do those for you. Just we can't edit Shopify because nobody can edit Shopify. I mean, it's not just us. It's that nobody can do that. Doing that. So Brian, you just answered that one, so that's good. Somebody wants to know if we're still going to Atlanta. Yes, we are. We have an Atlanta event coming up free for all you guys the end of August. I had to think what month we were on. I was going to say end of this month. I just got back from being for 2 weeks in Europe. I don't even know what day it is anymore. But come the end of August, Sharon, can you post the link up in the chat window underneath the Q&A window to that? And then Greg will know the answer to that because I don't know. It's north of Atlanta in Duluth, and it's the last Saturday and Sunday in August. I don't know what days those are, but they are.
Yeah, that's all listed on the site or the link that Sharon will post in a second. And by the way, so if you're, if you want to learn kind of hands-on from us or see some hands-on training on stuff like, this is far outside of Webfire too. That's anything that helps you get more traffic leads, rankings, and all that good stuff right there. We'll be covering on this workshop, including building out like sales funnels, increasing the value of price points or anything you sell, and lots of hands-on stuff too. You'll want to attend the Atlanta workshop there. So I know oftentimes there's like a lot of guys that say, well, if you guys had it where I'm from, I'll attend, but if I have to drive an hour, then no. We're not doing a bunch of workshops, so the chances of us being in your hometown are probably next to nothing, unless by random chance you're in like Atlanta or you're in London or anything like that. So if you can make it, definitely try to make it, because I've seen like a major difference between guys that don't take any action, don't try to attend events, and guys that actually do. So if you can make that, make sure you do. Again, Atlanta is very easy to drive to and fly to even. It's a major hub, I think, of Delta. So lots of flights there. So even if you have to catch a plane or anything, again, we look forward to seeing you guys there. And again, Sharon.
So here's the difference in landing in Atlanta for yesterday versus landing in London on Monday. So Monday I fly from Prague to London. It takes 2 hours and 1 minute to go through passport control. It's only an hour and 40-minute flight from Prague to London. Okay, and I know they tighten the borders, and I understand why there are problems. Here's the difference. We landed. We hit the gate at 7:42 here in America. At 7:59, I had been through passport control, collected my luggage, and was headed to the car outside of the airport. Big difference. And also we didn't back up the rest of the universe for the non-United States citizens as well. They were moving quickly through the system as well. So some countries make it easier to visit or not. So if you want to come visit Atlanta from other places, you can fly here from there, and we'd love to have you. And if you live in the States, Atlanta, obviously very easy to get to. So, all right.
Yeah. So with that too, like as far as the question that there's like another one, the Shopify stuff. So again, as Sean said, obviously, if you don't have the FTP, there's certain stuff that you can't change on it. But most I guess, services and sites like that, if they don't have FTP, they still allow you to do a lot of stuff. Like they still allow you sometimes to change around the titles. They allow you to change around essentially image alt tags, and there's a whole bunch of stuff like that that Webfire can still help with. And on top of that, the stuff that you can't change directly on the site, you can still do a lot of stuff like drive traffic to your Shopify site and all that good stuff using all the tools inside of Webfire as well. So there's tons and tons and tons of uses outside of just whether or not you have the FTP or not there. All right, this question here on what hosting works best for Webfire that allows FTP. I mean, most web hosts allow FTP. I mean, if you go to any major one, they almost all do. Like one-and-one.com does, HostGator.com does. I mean, Bluehost does. I mean, almost any host allows FTP access to your own site. If you don't have FTP access, it basically means you don't have control of your site and you can't change stuff on it, which is not really a good host then. All right. And I think your name's Rahul. I'm not sure what you mean by how will my level will go up. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm guessing you might mean how can you get your ranking up, and that's just by we have prior trainings on just that. Like what to basically look for, and it mainly comes down to stuff like tweaking and optimizing essentially your title tag, making sure it contains the keyword you're trying to rank for, and having the words mentioned somewhere in the content of your site. And I could talk for essentially hours on all the stuff that you could do, but definitely watch some of the prior trainings on SEO because we talk specifically about that. And we also have a jumpstart one on how to rank and get traffic to a blog or site in very little time as well. So if you watch those, it will make it much easier. All right. Someone said here that you sound like Bill Clinton, Sean.
Nice. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's probably because my voice is a little bit hoarse, and he always has that hoarse-sounding thing.
Okay. And yes, there's a person asking here if we'll have a replay of this. Yeah, we'll have it up within about a day in the Webfire members area. All right, there's a question here if at the workshop in Atlanta, if we'll talk about Facebook ads or ads in general. And I believe we do, Sean, right?
We do talk about what? When?
Facebook ads and advertising in general.
You mean on these webinars?
No. He's saying so he's saying he wants to go to the workshop in Atlanta.
Oh, the workshop. Yes, we do actually talk about Facebook ads. Yes.
Yep. All right.
No, Charles. The screen isn't changing. We're just answering questions.
All right, so here's a person right here saying that they need someone to redo their roof website and asking if we have any suggestions. Well, it basically depends on what kind of suggestions you want. I mean, is it are you looking to make it like ranked? Are you looking to redo the entire site? If you're looking to redo a site or get it ranked, I mean, we do the outsource package from last week where those guys can help with that. If you're looking for tips on how to rank, you can definitely use the keyword tools and the site analysis tool inside of Webfire to see what keywords you'll probably have an easier time on, and then you can tweak your site to be more optimized for that. Or if you have like a specific question, I'd be happy to answer. I just need to know more of like what exactly you're looking for there. All right, another person asking for the Atlanta link again. So that's posted in the chat box right there, and Sharon can post it to, I believe it's Elena. So Sharon, if you can post it to Elena again. I think you actually, yeah, so just post it to her. I know there's another guy that asked for that too, but it's also in the chat box too. All right, Charles asked if we have a video. He just sees the Q&A. Yeah, so right now we were just answering questions, as Sean said. All right, so Rahul, you asked a question on how to get to page one. So I mean, it basically comes down to, mainly three things. And this is like the basics. We have like a lot of training that goes like much more extensively. But the basics, which tend to work like 9 out of 10 times, is just, one, do the keyword research to start with and only target the terms that you have a better chance to basically rank for, which the keyword tool will help you pick those out and will basically show you which ones don't really have a ton of competition, meaning you don't have to compete with a lot of guys there. So that's the first step right there. So make sure you go after the keywords that you'll have an easier time ranking for to start with. Secondly, make sure to optimize your site, and first and foremost, make sure to have the keyword at least somewhere in the title tag, of the main site or of the main web page that you're trying to basically rank. And of course, have it at least once or twice throughout the actual content itself. If you never use it in the content, you're far less likely to actually rank for that term too, because Google basically says, hey, if they don't even use any term like it, chances are it's not about that stuff. So that's the second stuff right there, is make sure to optimize your site for that. And the third one is, to kind of go the extra mile. If you even get just a couple backlinks from relevant sites, that can give you an extra boost right there. And that's really, the secret sauce right there. Lots of guys usually, they overcomplicate stuff, or they don't do step one, where they don't pick a keyword that they'll have an easier time to rank for, and instead they go for like a super hard one like diet or weight loss all but by itself. And even if you optimize your site very well with that, you're competing against thousands and thousands of highly optimized sites going after the same thing. So keep that in mind as well there. And yeah, so Greg said here he wanted to redo the look of the site and help rank it too. And yeah, that's one that, again, so he says, all right, yeah, so he's saying he just wants to basically hire out to have a site redone and help it be optimized. Yeah, and that's one where, again, we have, the outsource package that you could definitely use that. They could help you with that there. And if you're interested in that, just write dfy@webfire.com. That stands for done for you. So it's dfy@webfire.com, and they can definitely help you get in touch there. All right. So Ross said that he missed the first part, and he's asking how much it costs to start a business with advertising. So that's kind of technically you don't have to advertise at all to get stuff like ranked and all that, but it's like, so I'm not quite sure exactly what you're asking right there, but you can feel free to clarify some. All right, and so if the keyword score is 100% or close to it, that means you have to basically optimize your site for it on top of that too, and make sure that you follow the best practices, which is basically have the keyword be somewhere in the title tag, have a compelling title at the same time, and use it like at least once or twice throughout the actual content, but have the content flow well too. If you write like crappy content that reads horribly, Google tends to check that stuff, and also will tend not to rank you as high in cases like that. So without seeing your actual site, it'd be hard to say, but make sure to actually target the good keywords and then optimize your site too. And one quick way that you can help is run that through the website analysis tool and see what it says is wrong with your site, and try to make the changes there too. All right, this person saying here, should they have a different web page for each different kind of keyword? And that's one way to go about it, because every web page that you have within a website is treated differently and can be ranked separately as well. So if you want to target multiple different keywords, you can have a web page or a blog post trying to target each one, or even a video trying to basically target each one, so over time you can get ranked for like a bunch of stuff. All right, Martige, I think I might be saying your name wrong here. He said, "What?"
No, it's really Martin. He just got a J in there when he registered.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Not that he's ever been
right,
on this call before.
All right. So with that, you said, what tool can I use to help me find where my competition gets their traffic from? We actually answered that, but that's inside of Webfire in the drop down of competition. There's one called backlink. Just click that, and you'll get that info right there. And in fact, when I showed off the new features, I actually addressed that for you as well on the actual walkthrough. So if you missed that, you can just watch the replay and see it right there. But if not, just go to the competition tab, then go to the backlink tool, and then follow the instructions right there. Super easy. Just type in one of the websites, whether it's your own site or the competition site, and it will list off all the other competition and where their top 20 sources are. All right. All right, and Raul, yeah, feel free to. I mean, depending upon like if you just made a change to your site, it doesn't mean it will instantly change like the very next minute or even the very next hour or even the very next day. It might take like a few days or so. But if it's been a few days or so and you think that you have a good keyword that doesn't have much competition, and you think that you optimize the site and you think that also your content's good, make sure you can pass on the keyword and link to us, and we're happy to take a look there. So without knowing that, it's really hard to say for sure. We'd have to basically see it right there. All right, so Jamie asked here if there's a replay on what she could see, essentially the benefits of Webfire on. So yeah, we have. I mean, our sales calls, which shows off Webfire itself. That lists off like all essentially the features of it. But this is more like training stuff that we do every Wednesday for our users and stuff. And that's one where just check any of the training that we have inside of Webfire, and we have tons and tons and tons of training and tools and all that good stuff right there. Or just email the support if you have any questions like that. So yes, Sean, I think we answered all the questions and whatnot. And again, next week, guys, we should have part 3 of the SEO data done, which I'm excited for that one, because that will give some more insider info on what exactly is ranking and why, and it will give some pretty good intel, and it's stuff that you don't see elsewhere. I mean, guys can theorize on why stuff ranks and all that, but we'll actually see the raw actual data and can compare even more. So that's a pretty exciting stuff, so I'm excited for that. And then we'll have, again, the new tools out very soon, and we'll go over those in the training as well. So Sean, is there anything else you want to add or chime in on? If not, I think we answered all the questions, and we can wrap up.
No, I think we're all good. Good info, lots of updates. Biggest thing I can tell you, the big takeaway from London from our last event is you guys have lots of great ideas, but you're missing out on 2 things. Number 1, you got to take action. Just go get stuff done. Talk to a number of people who are just like, yeah, I got this whole long list. I just need to go do it. You already know what you need to do. Go do it. And number 2, don't let stupid stuff slow you down. Talk to a really nice woman, very accomplished in her business, her job that she has, who for months has struggled trying to figure out how to update a website because she keeps saying, I'm not stupid. I know I can figure this out. But the truth is that the stupid part was trying to figure it all out herself, because for $5, and I had to argue her into this, for $5 she could have gone to Fiverr and within 24 hours solved the problem for $5. Okay, so even with the pound falling against $1, £4 solved a problem that for months has plagued her and kept her from moving forward. So when you think about it, seriously, how stupid is that? So don't get slowed down by little crap. Just go get somebody to do it if you can't do it. You can get it done cheap and is smart and knows how to do it, and go take action and make stuff happen. So other than that, let's give away money.
All right, so fun stuff. All right, so what we will do, I'll just pause the screen again. So I go back to All right, so again, once more, guys, if you want to be part of the cash giveaway right here, go to getwebfire.com/FB group right now, and under the post that Sharon just did, asking on this call, if you've enjoyed it, just say anything you want in the comments, and in about a minute, we'll pick a winner from that. So let me just go to that Facebook group right now. Just give me a second to pull up the. So again, it's just getwebfire.com/FB group.
Hey, and while you're doing that, Brad, I want to answer something. So somebody just wrote, these are the small things you know and we have to find out. See, that's not true, okay? Because what's happening is that and I see this, thousands of times over the last 20 years of helping people start a business, is that so a couple things happen. One is everybody wants to know everything to run their own business, which is not the way that it's going to work, because you can't know everything about everything. Okay, when I started out, I had to know everything because there was no one to hire to build websites or to how to write an email. Because I was there at the beginning. There wasn't anybody who was an expert to go get to do stuff. But now you need a website built, okay, or you need a website updated, or you need a logo made. You go to Fiverr, it costs $5, okay? We needed a video intro when we were doing some video for the free video course that we have in for Webfire. We got the coolest video intros made on Fiverr for $5. We hired 4 guys, paid a total of $20. Within 24 hours, we had 4 really cool video intros. Now, you could have given me all week, nothing else to do, studying video software, and I still couldn't make those video intros, okay? So every time you get stuck, do one of 2 things. Go search Google, because somebody probably already wrote the answer out, okay? Like, how do I update this on a WordPress page? Or go hire somebody for $5 and quit spending 3 or 4 weeks or 3 or 4 months getting stuck on the little crap, because the little crap is not making you guys any money. Okay, it's just holding you up and keeping you from moving forward and succeeding. Okay, like I said, talk to people in London. Okay, you guys, actually, you know what you need to do. You just got to go do it, or get someone to do it for you, one of the 2. All right, Brian, give away money.
All right, so the fun stuff. So right here, again, I'll give you maybe 10 more seconds to do a post. So on getwebfire.com/FB group, you'll go to this page right here and just leave a comment right here. Just post anything you want right there. There's a couple that posted outside of that, and that's perfectly fine too. And in 10 seconds, I'll do a refresh, and then I have a random.org number generator up, so we can find a completely random winner right there.
I'm pretty random.
So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, half, fourth, 0. All right. So just refreshed. And let's see, we have 39 comments here. So tons and tons of comments, thank guys. So 39 right there, and we have a couple outside of that. We have one past that. Oh wait, 1, 2. All right, so we have 39 under that, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, So there's 11 plus the 39 right here, which would be 50. Oh, what? One more just popped up, so it'd be 51. All right. So one of you just sneaked in right there. So
what I love
51.
is at least knowing that you can count.
Yeah, so we'll have between 1 and 51. So those are everyone that left.
And it's going to be like 38, so you're going to have to count to 38 now.
Yeah, I know. I realize
Go ahead.
that.
My prediction is 38.
All right. 35. Close.
Yeah, but that
Off by
doesn't
3.
pay off. Do it again till you get
Right.
to 38. All right, go count to 35.
So at 35, so because there were 40 right here, that'd be the 5th one back from there.
No, it would be the 6th one back.
6th one. Sorry, that's what I meant to actually say.
And there's a lot of money on the line.
Yeah. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, Tom Wick.
All right,
This is you.
Tom, congratulations.
All right, so Tom, you won $100. Just send us your PayPal info, and we'll get you that $100 over today.
And it didn't take him long. It's already in the chat window, in the question window, Sharon. Way to go,
right,
Tom. All right. Can't believe you can type that long an email address that quickly. Awesome.
All right, Tom. So we'll get that over to you.
Oh, you have it saved. Okay, there we go.
Sharon, if you can just jot down his PayPal info and get that out to him today. And again, guys, thanks much for being on this call right here. Hopefully you enjoyed the new stuff we showed off and you got some value out of the Q&A. And next week we'll talk about part 3 of the SEO data, which I think will be really, really cool and full of insights. So with that, guys, if there's any other questions or anything that pops up, you can always write support@webfire.com, or inside the members area there is a help desk as well in case there's ever like an email issue or anything like that. So with that, guys, have a great rest of the week, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So thanks much, guys, and see you later.